All right, hello. Welcome to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling.
And I'm your co-host, Dylan Boyle.
Welcome back, Dylan. Welcome back. How do you feel after last night?
I don't want to get into it. Dedicated a whole Monday just for the Giants to disappoint me again.
And this, again, another surprising week of things that we predicted were going to happen and we were completely wrong. Some things we got right on the nose. But so we're gonna get into that right now. We're gonna break down the games like we usually do our predictions. But halfway through, in between the games and the predictions, we're gonna do our top 10 teams each and debate on that. So yes, I like to call mine the Reichling rankings because Will Reichling. So it's going to basically be my power rankings. And we're going to do it every quarter of the season. So we'll do it now. We'll do it after week 8, week 12, and then at the end of the season.
Well, I think this is really important because, if you look at our rankings and if you looked at them in the beginning of the year, they would be nothing alike what they look like now.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And it just goes to show every week is different. And there's always a bunch of games here that we predict that we're completely wrong about. And Absolutely. We'll get into that now. For one, you were wrong about the Giants.
I was dead wrong.
Dude, they got their butts kicked. I don't know how... You could start. I got a lot to say about this.
I said it before. My brain's telling me Giants, and my brain's telling me Seahawks, and my heart's telling me Giants. I shouldn't have listened to my damn heart, man.
No, you shouldn't have.
Not one touchdown scored. I really don't know what to make of this. I say this every week.
You haven't scored a touchdown at home yet, by the way, but go on.
Don't even mention it, man. It's just so disappointing what we couldn't get any sort of run game going.
Nope.
With this guy Breida, who the hell is this guy, man? We gotta get some sort of running game going to get something going for our offense. And it's just disappointing, like what we are without Saquon Barkley, because that's all we were. We were just kept on using Saquon Barkley, and I've always wondered, it's like, what will we be without Saquon Barkley? And it just shows. And it was just a very disappointing game, Just like last week, we could not tackle people down the field. We just letting tackles go right by. It's just so disappointing. I don't know what to make of this team anymore. I don't know if we're just going to, keep on losing games or if we're going to turn it around like we did last season. But I don't know. It's not looking good for them.
Oh, so many things I want to say about this. I want to start with, the offensive line is terrible, and they're a lot to blame.
10 sacks. They got sacked 10 times.
11 sacks.
Oh, 11.
You must have fell asleep at that point.
Thanks for the fact check.
So, the offensive line was terrible. The play calling was terrible.
Oh, my God, bro. Third down, and you're third and long, and you're running the ball?
In a critical moment.
What is going on?
In a critical moment. And I just want to get this out there. I'll start with this. So, yes, the blocking, terrible. The play calling, terrible. And what I also mean by the play calling is, and a little bit of this is on Daniel Jones, a little bit of this is on the coaching. There was one time, and this was a bunch of sacks, where the edge just ran right in and sacked Daniel Jones, and no one was blocking him. Daniel Jones has to see that at the line of scrimmage, audible, to bring someone over there to block them, so he doesn't keep getting laid out. That's partially on him.
That happened multiple times. That just wasn't one.
That's partially on him, but it's partially on the coaching. You saw what Seattle was doing. Seattle had rookie. They had a makeshift offensive line.
They were missing 3 of their key linemen.
And what they did, they had 2 tight ends and shotgun. They were making formations to have extra blockers, and it was working. So I didn't see any of that from the Giants. They just did their usual vanilla offense. How many times? Look, and the line was terrible. The defense couldn't tackle. The play calling was terrible. How many times are we going to blame it on everyone else but Daniel Jones? At some point, the guy's got to look in the mirror. He's had, I think, 57 career starts and only 62 touchdowns in 57 starts. Like, come on. At some point, he needs to overcome this, get the ball out quicker a little bit, maybe see the pressure coming and run, step up in the pocket. A lot of this is on him. And at some point, you have to point to Daniel Jones and be like, he's not the guy. For $40 million, definitely not the guy for $40 million.
I don't know if we want to see not the guy yet, but there were a lot of times where he did have time in the pocket and he was just sitting there and not letting it go. I'm like, pass the damn ball. What are you doing?
Yeah, there was one where he just was stepping up, got sacked. He just held on to the ball too long. Then the pick six was devastating.
With the amount of talent that, I wouldn't even say talent, with the amount of speed that we have in the wide receiver depth, it's crazy that we couldn't get any deep balls. Nothing going.
I think it's time to say that you don't have any wide receiver depth because these guys aren't performing. None of them are. Not even Waller.
No, I don't. It's not them. I really don't.
They can't even get them the ball because they can't block. It all comes back to, and I feel like a big key to this season is that a lot of these games have been won at the line of scrimmage. They can't block. they're not getting anything down the field. I don't remember the last time Daniel Jones threw a ball down the middle of the field for like 20 yards. I don't think I've seen that because he doesn't have time for those plays to develop. So a lot of it's not on him. So I do feel bad, but at the same time, he's got to start overcoming some of this stuff. You know,
He's a running quarterback. You should be able to break out of the pocket when you see your lines collapse.
See, that's another good point. He's fast, straight line fast. He's not Lamar where he's going to make people miss. And I think you saw that on one of he did a read option in the inside the 10, and they stopped him right away because he's not a juker. He's just a straight line runner.
Yes,
so if he doesn't have
point.
space, he's not going to be able to do the things Lamar, Josh Allen does. And you know, that's all I really have to say about that. It's just, you know, in a way, he's got the tools, but he's also limited. So, you know, like he should be picking up those blitzes and having someone a running back chip the guy before he runs out for a pass. Hell, have the tight end come from the right to the left. And the coaches should see that too. Look at what Seattle was doing. So it just.
They're going to get a real smack in the face when they play Dolphins this week.
Oh,
so,
yeah. We'll get into that
I
one.
just hope it's not another Broncos game where they get destroyed by 70 points. Our defense isn't terrible, so I can't see that happening.
It wasn't the defense's fault.
It wasn't.
Today. When you score 3 points, how are you going to win? You won't.
You can't. It was like 24, right? 24-3, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have a good offensive line, they could have kept up with the scoring, but I'm just really disappointed in the G-men. They couldn't get it done. This is a must-win for them. I was saying it last week, and they didn't perform to any of their standards. I don't even know what their standards are at this point.
I don't either, and it definitely was rough for sure.
I got nothing else to say. Let's just move on.
So, the other game at MetLife Stadium, Chiefs at Jets, and boy, this was kind of surprising to me.
This one kept me awake. This was a lot better than the Giants
Zach
game.
Wilson had his best game as a pro. They fall down 17-0 in the first quarter. 17-0. I'm thinking it's going to be a blowout. They're showing Taylor Swift 20 times, and then all of a sudden, the Chiefs score 6 points the rest of the game. The Jets get in complete control. I've never seen Zach Wilson make those types of ball placements. Back shoulder throws. He was splitting it between 2 defenders. He had confidence. Am I ready to say that he could be a legitimate quarterback? No, I need to see it more. But that was a great step in the right direction. Mahomes struggled, but you know Mahomes is going to get the job done at the end of the day. That's why Mahomes is great. He could have a bad game and still pull out a victory. That's what makes Mahomes Mahomes.
No, yeah, he rightfully should be paid the top quarterback in the league. You know, I feel like he single-handedly won them this game for sure
with his huge third down runs. Yeah. So like multiple
his
times.
Smart play calling, not running in for the touchdown, just sliding and just ending the game like that. Great play calling. Overall, this is a great game all around. I think the Jets really performed in the second half. They really fell behind in the first half. I don't know if you want to blame that fully on the defense, but
definitely for that first quarter, they came out flat. That was embarrassing. But I like the resilience to come back in that, and just like shows that if we could hang with the Chiefs, we could beat Denver next week. But we'll get into that. But go on.
So I feel like this is a week where the offense stepped up, and that gave reason for the defense to step up. I feel like you guys were firing on all cylinders that second half.
Yeah.
It was a really good game for you guys overall. Like the defense really stopped them.
At the same time, at the end, they couldn't really get off the field. They would drive. They had like a 15-play drive. So like it goes hand in hand. This isn't an elite. This defense is very, very good, but it's showing sometimes that's not elite. They dropped an interception. I don't want to get into the holding call at the end.
I don't know. I the more I watch it, the more I'm like, did they really call? And then I watched this other play where Mahomes broke out the pocket
and they were holding Jermaine Johnson.
He was literally hitting him on the helmet to let go, and he didn't get that.
The hold on Jermaine Johnson, yes. And I'm not someone to say.
And then that
the Jets got that for them.
They got that, but that shouldn't have even been called.
No, it shouldn't have. But then it just showed that was in the Jets' favor. So it goes hand in hand. The timing of the ref pulling out that flag was a little suspect, but I'm not going to get into the NFL being rigged. I mean, I'm not here to discuss things like that. It's just like if you want to go with conspiracy theories, go watch Ancient Aliens on the History Channel because I'm not trying to give promotion to them. So the guy with the wacky hair, I forgot that guy's name. But okay, so that's really Jets. Maybe things are looking up for them. I gotta see one more week from Jack.
But can Zach Wilson bring them to the playoffs?
I don't think so. But it was one good game, but it gives you promise, and he gave himself another week. Now with this, we were demanding another quarterback. Now we all want to see what he can do. So let's give him another week.
So is this more of the Chiefs taking a step back? Because they did lose to the Lions. They had a back and forth with the Jaguars where they both couldn't score points.
But they're still squeezing out victories, and they still did almost beat the Lions. They still almost beat the Lions, and we are holding the Lions in this high regard now. So the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, man. They're not like on the Bengals level right now where everything's falling apart. They're still winning games.
We'll get into that one.
Yeah, so they're still winning games. So that Chiefs will be fine. Okay, so Dolphins at Bills. Boy, Dylan, were we wrong about this. Miami finally met their match, and their match was Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. This is basically the first good. I mean, the Patriots have a decent defense, but this is the first daunting defense that they faced. And once they fell behind, I feel like now there's a formula to beating Miami. Get a lead on them fast, and then pin your ears back and rush the passer. Because when Tua is hurried, he started to struggle a little bit there.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Bills really took a step up with this game. They were obviously, I don't think they were the underdogs for this game, right?
I think they were actually favored because they were home, but it was a slight favorite. Yeah.
Well, very slight favorite. They really took control of this game and showed them what they have. I don't know what was going on with the Dolphins. They really weren't. I think you hit it right on the nail head with that. They weren't utilizing Waddle at all when he came back. This is a key target that you really have to use. And I mean, you guys should have some sort of play calling where if you're getting rushed, like the quarterback's being rushed, then you should be getting out of the pocket quicker and having quicker plays, your checkdowns. But
well, that's the thing. The Bills' defensive scheme was excellent because they were stopping all those over the middle throws we always talk about, and they were kind of stuffing it down. When Tua threw that pick where he overthrew the receiver, it's because he saw that the safety was closing in on the cross, so he tried to float it in over the safety, but ended up overthrowing him as a result. So they got to Tua a little bit, and they got to his head, but do I think Miami's still a Super Bowl team? I'm not sure now. They kind of, I'm a little nervous now after that because there is a formula to beat them. They're a little too finesse for me.
I was going to say, I think the Bills watched a lot of their game footage for
the last 3 weeks, and
they might be a little predictable, I will say.
Well, they do have a great play caller on offense, Mike McDaniel. We find him hilarious. And I think he'll come up with something else moving forward. I think this is the wake-up call for Miami. Look, we're not that good, guys, especially defense. They got embarrassed on defense. Stephon Diggs, why don't you tackle him maybe on the sideline?
Yeah, no, yeah, they were looking like the Giants one where they weren't. Yeah, they could not tackle him back-to-back. They just have cornerbacks hitting him and just spinning off of him like it was nothing.
And it's like the Bills after week 1. Maybe it's just a jet thing, a divisional matchup that they struggle with because the last 3 weeks they've been knocking people out. So they're definitely one of the best teams in the league still.
Yes, I definitely have them ranked higher than a lot of people do. The Bills, we were really disappointed. We didn't know what to make of them. Even coming into the season, we had a lot of question marks.
The Diggs drama, and now I mean. Before the season, I had Buffalo winning the division, but then over the last 3 weeks, I thought it was going to be Miami. I still think now Buffalo's probably going to win this division. I don't know what you think. I mean, now they got this one tiebreaker. They play one more time. But now they have the first game, Buffalo. So if they get the second game, they're going to have that tiebreaker.
Well, listen, nothing. You can't take away 70 points away from them. They still scored 70 points. That's what against the Broncos defense. That isn't terrible.
That's what was so disappointing about it. They went from 70 points to 20. So it's just once they got a formula against them, I worry against playoff teams. When it's cold out and you have to run the ball and it's just based on defense. Can they hold against those teams with that defense? We'll see when Ramsey comes back. Okay, so this was another crazy divisional game. Commanders at Eagles, and boy, all I gotta say is I think Sam Howell can play.
Absolutely, man, all the way. To go head to head with a Super Bowl contender like this.
Jalen Hurts had his best game of the year, honestly, in my opinion. I mean, he was humming today, and we were kind of waiting for this. And the Commanders' defense isn't. I mean, their secondary is, I guess, a little vulnerable, but they have a decent front four
line.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts was throwing it all over the place today. We were waiting to see this from him. They were running the ball a lot. Today, he was slinging it. A.J. Brown had 2 great touchdown catches. He was throwing up to Devontae Smith.
They were going off.
He threw a beautiful pass to Goddard right through a defender. It was a beautiful pass. So Jalen Hurts had the best game of the season so far.
They got back to their roots, man. That's what it's all about.
Well, now teams, they've been run like I said, it goes back and forth with the Eagles. Now they were getting run heavy again. Teams started to stop the run. Okay, I got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So the Eagles can win multiple ways. That's why I still think they're definitely a legitimate Super Bowl contender still.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. And then the Commanders too, as well. You have NFC East that's kind of falling apart. They could easily come in and win some games for sure, and be a legit contender for the playoffs.
Yeah, and you're down 7 on the road. You have to draw essentially a rookie quarterback. He's not a rookie, but he is. He only started 1-2 games last season. And they go down the field, and on the last second of the game, throw a touchdown pass, then get the 2-point conversion.
Literally the last second.
Yeah, Sam Howell, we were, a lot of people were very doubtful of him. We didn't see him play a lot. He's big. He can move. He could sling it. This guy could end up being like a top 15 quarterback very soon. Like, he's definitely in the top 20 in my opinion. He's like, he can play
after this week. Yeah,
this Commander team could make the playoffs. They could be. I don't think they're going to win this division. You got Dallas and the Eagles, and the Giants always playing well too. But they definitely could make the playoffs this season. I thought they were going to be 2-14. I mean 2-15, 1-16. No, they're going to be. They're going to win, possibly 9 games, hopefully. I mean, they have a tough schedule, too. The whole NFC East does because they play each other twice. They play the AFC East, too. But the Commanders definitely, there's a lot to be happy about if you're a Commander fan right now. Chase Young got a sack, so now he's back and he's healthy. Brian Robinson's been running the ball well, and you got that good combination with Gibson. Terry McLaurin had some great catches. Logan Thomas, the tight end's been coming on. They have some pieces now, and now they just got to put it together. I like Ron Rivera as a head coach. Sometimes he makes some questionable calls. They could have went for it. They could have went for 2. They were on the road. Young quarterback. You might want to steal a game on the road. Why give the ball back to Philadelphia because their offense was humming? But still,
very good point.
But still,
I should have just gone for the 2 to end the game.
I wouldn't get that picky about it, though. We still a great fight by the Commanders, and this is an exciting division again. Like you said, NFC Beast, Dylan.
Yeah, honestly, the Giants might be falling last in that division.
Yeah,
now.
they might, but there's still a lot. You still haven't even played the Commanders yet, so there's a lot of games left. We'll see what happens. So another divisional one, an NFC North battle. Lions at Packers, and I was wrong. You were right. Lions controlled the game. Lions offensive line can do whatever the hell they want. They run whenever the hell they want. Then they do the play action whenever they want. They throw whenever they want. Let me throw a number out. Well, a couple numbers out for you. Jared Goff in his last 13 games, 21 touchdowns, 3 picks. I know I give a lot. I'm a little tough on him sometimes. I think he needs a good line and good running game. But when he has those things, I have him in my top 10 now for quarterbacks because now Rodgers is out for the season, so I don't have him in that anymore. Goff has now entered my top 10. He's number 10 now. Goff is a legitimate quarterback in this league. And people kind of forgot about him with the trade with Matthew Stafford, like he was going to be an afterthought. But he has become like a leader on this team.
No, I feel like he's really driven this team to a real team,
Yeah.
Obviously, they have a lot of key targets around him and a lot of good running backs. But I feel like that's just all based on him doing his job and bringing this team to.
He does everything he's asked to do and more. And the line, when you have a line like that, you're gonna like the Eagles. You're gonna do whatever you want. You can run the ball. Look at Montgomery now. He looks like a revelation with this line. I mean, a lot of that's him. Man. He's breaking tackles, but
no, he's having a lot of breakaway runs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and eventually Gibbs will get going probably.
Yeah, for sure. He showed a lot of hope too.
What do we make of Jordan Love though? Because that line was terrible. It seems like the first couple games he wasn't getting pressured and he was playing well. Now when he's getting pressured, it seems like we haven't seen him get pressure a lot. And now with that he was getting pressured, he was struggling. He had a couple good drives after the half, but he struggled. He was bad in this game. He was bad, but I told you this I think on Thursday. A lot of time goes by from Thursday to now, but I still feel the same way as from what I texted you on Thursday, or was it Friday? I said, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. He's still young. He's learning.
He's going to have games like
exactly.
That.
I'm going to sum up as a rough game. He's had good games, so he's allowed to have a bad game. And it looks like the Lions' defense is better than what we thought. It looks a lot better than what we thought.
They are. I mean, I've always been high on the Lions, but with the Packers, they just don't have that many targets for
Watson.
Jordan Love.
Right. Watson just came back from injury. Dobbs is their main guy, and it to me really stems down to the line. Bakhtiari's been hurt, and Aaron Jones really couldn't get it going. A.J. Dillon's been disappointing this year.
This quarterback could be very mobile if he wanted to.
He's just quick.
Yeah, he has to just be more aware in the pocket when the line's collapsing. And, I feel like they just really need that one more target on offense, and then they'll get stuff going for them.
I agree. Like, once they get Bakhtiari back, some linemen back, they and Jones gets a little bit healthier, they will be, I think they are going to be fighting for the playoffs, too. Like I said, I'm just going to take this with a grain of salt. Jordan Love has impressed me a lot up until now. you can't always be recency bias. We got to take the whole body of work. Like, we can't just take 1 week and freak out all the time. Same with like Zach Wilson's the perfect scenario. Are we now just going to announce him as like a great quarterback from 1 week? No. Are we going to say Jordan Love's terrible from one bad week? No. We got to see more. But definitely a little discouraging if you're a Packer fan that how he was against like pressure. But the Lions are a good team. And I think we're all starting to realize that now. So.
I've been saying it since the beginning.
So Lions are definitely going to win that division. I don't even think we have to talk about that anymore. Patriots at Cowboys. And boy, did the Patriots suck. Did Mac Jones suck? And
he did. He absolutely.
That Cowboys defense first off, he was just throwing too many stupid interceptions. How many interception after interception? Like, I don't know. He just looks lost sometimes, Mac Jones. Like, I get that he doesn't have any talent receiver, but like at some point, it's like
Bailey Zappies was looking a little better out there.
Yeah, I mean, even last season, but like obviously he's not the answer either. Could you see? I mean, the Patriots are 1-3 now. Could you see them ending up in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes? I think they're too good for that.
No, I don't think they're going to give up on Mac Jones that quickly. I think he needs one more season before they really, hit him with the boot. But
that's fair.
That would be a great piece for that offense if you think about it. They have a good defense. They have things going for them. When you have a mobile quarterback, because Mac Jones is not mobile. I think that's the real problem
not at all. Not at all. But like their line is decent. But I mean, the thing is,
you apply a little pressure and then he kind of falls apart.
And there's no upside with him. It's just kind of like what you see is what you get. There's no like Jordan Love, Zach Wilson, Daniel Jones upside. Daniel Jones is way more upside. Like because he can't move. He's kind of like not big. His arm's not great. It's okay. It's just like a lot of meh with Mac Jones, and it's coming to a point where it's like, and I heard like a lot of people don't like how kick Sauce Gardner and the and like he does that a lot, and apparently a player called him out for it last season, and I heard the Patriots were very upset with him over last season getting help from outside the organization when it came to learning the quarterback position. And it just seems like there's a lot of bad blood there. I don't think Belichick loves this guy anymore. I don't think he
likes him.
I don't think he likes him at all. So this could go south quick. And it seems like they keep losing games like this. We gotta watch out for a quarterback change, and maybe they take a quarterback in the draft. So the Cowboys, not much to say about that because they dominate bad teams. It seems like
they're good at that.
So like I still don't know where really to put them because that Cardinals game is still a little weird to me. This 49er game coming up next week is going to be a big test for them. I think that's all I have to say about the Cowboys at this point.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they match up against a really good team.
Yeah, and a really good defense. Will Dak start to turn the ball over again?
Because he looked really weird against that Cardinals game. He was throwing a lot of questionable balls.
Yeah, that pick in the end zone where we were like, what are you doing? Is he going to do that again when facing pressure? Because he's going to face some pressure in this game. So
face a lot of pressure.
We'll see. Rams at Colts, and this was a crazy overtime thriller. Anthony Richardson falls down. Was it 20-0 or 22-0? It was one or the other. But then he comes storming back to tie it. And then in overtime, Matt Stafford, the Puka Nakua, who has another big day, gets his first career touchdown in overtime.
In overtime to win the game, yeah.
You can't make that up, man. But
no, you can't.
One takeaway I'll take from this is I really liked how Anthony Richardson looked in this game. Again, he made some great throws in the run. That touchdown to Mo Alley Cox, the 2-point conversion throw. He had some really good throws where he was getting out of the pocket, moving, slinging it. Like, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see from players like Justin Fields, what you haven't been seeing. Yeah. Like, you're already seeing this in his first season. And he came back from a deficit. We always say, what does your quarterback look like when they're trailing? And he looked good trailing.
He brought his team back from a 22
exactly
point
that's
deficit.
What I mean.
He's the first quarterback to have 3 rushing touchdowns in all 3 games.
His first 3 career games.
Yeah. Not even Michael Vick have that.
Yeah.
RG3, nobody had
Lamar,
that.
no one. Yeah.
No. So he's showing a lot of promise. I like him. I've always liked him coming into the draft. He's just showing you like he has everything that you want to see in a quarterback.
And some yeah. Oh my God! He's got the size, he got the speed, he's got the arm, and like he looks like he's coachable, and he wants to learn, he wants to grow. This game's a little spicy. This team could knock off some wins. They could steal some games here. And like it seems like now the AFC is wide open. Like there's a lot of question marks. Like what are the Jags, the Bengals, like the Chargers?
Chiefs.
Yeah. So like what can the Colts maybe sneak into the playoffs? I don't want to go to that point yet because they're still missing some talent. But what if they get Jonathan Taylor back though?
Jonathan Taylor's shooting up to play this week.
There you go. And now you have a read option with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. Who's going to run it? Am I going to run it? Is he going to run it?
They're going to have like a little Giants action going on with Saquon and
Exactly.
Daniel Jones.
That exact same thing. And Puka Nacua is always open. He's got great hands, and I don't know how this guy fell to the 5th round, but he did, and he might win Rookie of the Year if C.J. Stroud doesn't keep this up. Because there now it would be C.J. Stroud, but other than that, it would be Puka Nacua.
Out of the 4 games that he played, 3 of them he had over 100 receiving yards.
Yeah, and the other one he had like 70, right? Yeah, so
it's crazy. He has a lot of talent, and I don't think he's going to be irrelevant when Cooper Kupp comes back.
I was about to say, what happens when Cooper Kupp comes back?
I think they're going to have a nice little dynamic duo.
Because you can't double either of them and then you got Higbee too. So they have some
Higbee. Atwell's still a decent
Atwell's
receiver.
Been pretty good.
Yeah.
Once you start sending him in motion, he looks quick off the line. Mm-hmm. And even Van Jefferson could be legitimate sometimes. Kyron Williams been a revelation at running back, another 2 touchdowns. So the Rams also could be a playoff team. So there's a lot of teams that we thought were going to suck this year that don't suck.
No, not at all.
Hence Cardinals.
Yes.
But anyway, we won't talk about the Cardinals yet. But yes, great game. This might have been the game of the week. Great comeback, but wait for Stafford to finish it off in overtime. Stafford's having himself a nice little year so far. Ravens at Browns. Okay, another divisional one. AFC North. I had the Browns. You had the Ravens. I would have changed. I didn't realize Deshaun Watson wasn't going to play, so I would have changed this, but I didn't. So I'm just going to stick with it. I lost. You won this one. And we could have look. I
don't know. The Browns' defense didn't even look that good.
It didn't. Fair.
I thought as good as we thought that they were going to be.
Very fair. Very fair. But they only scored 3 points. I know for a fact they would have scored more than 3 points Deshaun Watson played. And maybe the defense felt like they were getting kind of dragged around because the offense wasn't scoring.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of factors there. It definitely. I don't know if the Browns would have won the Deshaun Watson play, but it definitely would have been closer. Now Lamar is having an MVP type season. He's been great. Again, that touchdown throw to Mark Andrews. He had
2 more.
Yes, he had 2 throws to Mark Andrews. A touchdown run he had. He's playing like vintage Lamar. And this is what you need if you're the Baltimore Ravens. You have a chance to win this division right now. The Steelers are faulty. The Browns now are up and down. And the Bengals have been terrible. So you have a legit shot to win this AFC North.
They could win this easily if they just keep doing what they're doing.
I think
they worried me the first game, but now they've really kicked it into high gear.
Yeah, and the Colts one was kind of a fluke. The Colts just kind of played out of their minds that day. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the Colts were going to steal some games this year. They're sneaky good.
Yeah,
they're spicy a little bit. Now the Ravens, this could be their shot right now because the Chiefs have been falter, they've been up and down. Yeah. The Chargers have been up and down. The Bills have been great, but the Dolphins have been great. But the Ravens have a shot here to end up being the 2-3 seed and make a legitimate push. If they just honestly let Odell sit until he's fully healthy, have him come back.
Once you have OBJ back, you're gonna have some real talent to watch out for.
Well, we gotta hope because he was kind of quiet in those first couple games.
Well, yeah, I don't pass that.
I don't doubt him.
Yeah, I don't doubt him at all
because we know the talent's always going to be there with Odell. It's just whether he plays or not. And the Ravens, Zay Flowers looks like he could play.
Gus Edwards, we don't even got to think about J.K. Dobbins.
And how about that defense, man? They look good so far.
Yeah,
they look good.
To stopping them for 3 points. Yeah.
And think about the Houston Texans. I'm pretty sure the Houston Texans. They only scored, I think, 6 points on the Ravens, but I'm pretty sure they scored 37 on the Jaguars. How much did they score yesterday? They scored 22 on the Steelers, but the Ravens shut them down. I'm not saying the Texans are this high-powered offense, but it seems like the Ravens have a consistently good defense again, which is good because the Ravens always have a good defense. And to add that with the offense, they're a legitimate playoff team. I might have been wrong about them. I had them Jets missing, but I also had the Jets in, so that might have been the one I
think we got a few things mixed up.
Yeah. Exactly. So Broncos at Bears. Justin Fields played out of his mind to start that game.
Oh my God! He had himself a game.
I haven't seen that from him ever, and it's kind of like the Zach Wilson effect with him.
It is. It's exactly.
He bought himself more time. Now you got people in the front office that can fight for you. They could look back to this game. He got DJ Moore involved, more like we want him to.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet finally had himself a day. Khalil Herbert had a big game too. The offense was humming. It's the defense now.
It's kind of funny because we were looking up into these next upcoming games. We were looking at Bears and Commanders. At first glance, boring game. But then you think about it, no, this is actually going to be a really good game.
Could be interesting, especially if the offense performs like they did on Sunday. Then yes,
because these are 2 questionable teams. The Commanders, they gave themselves a fight against the Eagles.
Yeah.
And the Bears, like they lost this game. They're 0-4 right now, but they're a team that could definitely fight and stay in it. So that's going to be a real toss-up for me.
I don't trust the Bears, and I definitely don't trust the Broncos still. It was a great comeback.
So that's the other thing I want to get to, the Broncos. So what are the Broncos?
They're not good.
They're not.
Their defense isn't good. Their offense is better than last season. I will say that.
They are.
Now, it's not great, the offense. Russell Wilson's been good, but not great. Like, Russell Wilson has, I think, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks so far this year. It's good. But it seems like in the key moments, he hasn't been performing. Like, it seems like, the defense kind of won them the game this time? Justin Fields' fumble?
That's what I'm saying. Their comeback also was a defensive
that's another thing with Justin Fields. He plays great the whole game, and then he makes a stupid turnover with the fumble. He should have just held on to the ball. The fact that he even started to throw that or started to let it go when he saw 3 defenders around him was stupid. And then he throws an interception just trying to throw it right over the middle. It wasn't back-to-back drives. He had a drive in between where they could have kicked the field goal and then the 4th down failed. But
I feel like those are things you just got to tweak out. I feel like he still has...
Yeah, those aren't the end-all, be-all. The tools are there. And, finally you have a game to hang your hat on for Justin Fields, and that was this game. Now, still don't know about the Broncos, though, because
you saw Sean Payton cutting off his sleeves and stuff.
It was and once he cut off the sleeves, it was like game time. But, their defense sucks.
Their defense is terrible. Terrible.
And it's crazy because they were a legitimate defense a few years ago, and now suddenly they can't play.
I was mentioning it before. Yeah, I don't know how that defense just falls apart the way it did.
These were 2 terrible defenses. The Bears defense basically lost them the game in a way. I'll take it with a grain of salt. The Broncos hit desperation mode. I still don't think either team's good. I don't trust either team still. Just felt like we had to mention this because Justin Fields had himself a day. Russell Wilson had himself a nice little comeback, but I still think Russell Wilson is not what he used to be. He's not washed, but he's not what he used to be. It's clear now. It's clear
especially with the offense like this. I feel like it's just the team.
They don't fit. They don't fit well. Peyton and Russ don't fit well. Peyton kind of bounced back this week after letting up 70, but they let up 31? Oh, they let up 28. So this defense just isn't good.
No,
it's not good. Not good for either team. But the fact that the Bears fell apart was kind of pathetic too. The Bears are just going to keep losing at this point. So it's should you just go for Caleb Williams? We'll see. We still got more games left. Bears are going to play Thursday night. We'll get into that soon. Okay, so Bengals-Titans. And people have been asking, Dylan, when is it time to start worrying about Joe Burrow and the Bengals? It's now. The time is now. It's time to start worrying. They are not the same. Something's weird. I'll tell you what it is right now. Joe Burrow looks like he can't move. He can't escape out of the pocket. And teams are just sending the house on him. They're pinning their ears back and they're like, all right, we're rushing this quarterback. And he can't move. And it's a little pathetic. It's a little pathetic.
Pathetic is right. To not even score one single touchdown with the offense that you have.
The Titans destroyed them. Derrick Henry had that big run. But, yeah,
I'm concerned. Especially against a defense like this. They were ranked almost the worst defense last year.
The Titans, yeah.
Against the pass, against
yes,
the run.
Yes.
They just were not looking good. So you would think, the Bengals would make some sort of comeback this week,
You thought this would be a get right week for them. But if anything, it was a get more wrong week for them.
More wrong.
And
so, there's a lot of concerns going on.
I don't think they're a playoff team. I think they dug themselves too deep of a hole. And it's just going to be too much to bounce back from. And it looks like Joe Burrow is going to take a while to even get healthy to begin with. So,
yeah, at this point, I think you just let him heal. Give him,
because you're losing anyway. He's playing and you're losing. So what's the point? It's
there has to be some sort of. I think there's some sort of turmoil going on. There was a little interview with Jamar Chase, and he was like, "I'm always open. I'm always effing open." He's like, "Excuse my language," but he sounded angry, something was going on.
I'll add some context to that. I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase were teammates at LSU. They won national championships together. They've made a Super Bowl together. They both had career years as one's quarterback and one's receiver. I don't think he's mad at Joe Burrow. I think he's frustrated that they're losing, but dude, Joe is the guy to him. Joe has made his career, and he's made Joe's career. They love each other. Why all of a sudden we turn on him? It's kind of like the Diggs Allen thing in a way. It's just I think he's upset about losing, and he's maybe taking it out on Joe. But Joe's still great. He's just not him. He's not himself right now. The injury is getting to his head.
Does the money go to his head?
I think he's scared. I think he's just playing scared because he's injured and he can't move. So he's just playing too cautious. And you see it on some of his throws. He can't put power in that leg. He's sailing balls that he would never sail. And, it's just because of how bad he's been, you can't keep starting off so bad. So, I might have to put Josh Allen ahead of him in my quarterback hierarchy. Like, I had Burrow 2, Allen 3. I might have to switch that. I might even have to put Herbert over him now.
Yeah. Oh.
He's dropped a little bit. He's still top 5. He's still a top 5 quarterback for sure.
But we see how like a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes can respond to an injury. You know, he takes that. You know, takes it on the chin and keeps moving. But it worries me a lot about Joe Burrow, and I don't know what to make of him anymore. You know, I'm really curious to see how he finishes off the season.
Yeah, I don't even if he does finish the season, he's probably gonna end up getting knocked out for the year on one of these hits. I mean, his elbow, he looked like he hurt his elbow.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, he was rubbing his elbow.
He got hit as he was through, and that hurts too.
They might just come up with some sort of excuse to take him out. It's like, listen, you know,
I wouldn't put that past him, but we were both wrong about that game.
Yeah, very wrong.
Very wrong. And the Titans are up and down too. It's very weird. The Titans very weird, man.
Tannehill, I don't know what to make of them.
So we'll briefly breeze through the rest of these games. You know, I'll bring up a line or two, but I want to get to the top 10s. So let's just go through it right now. So the Disney game, Falcons at Jaguars. We both got that right. Jaguars it was kind of a get right game for the Jaguars.
Absolutely.
Offense was better. The defense was great. Desmond Ridder, we don't know if he's the guy. Probably not.
No.
We'll move on from that. Vikings at Panthers. Also a get right game for the Vikings.
But this really worried me because, you know, it's not like they won this easily. This was a nail biter.
And they also had a defensive touchdown to help them win this game. So it's.
The Vikings worry me. They really do. They're just not that team.
Bryce Young started to show promise, though, which is good. And, yeah, the Vikings aren't a playoff team, but we got this one right. We got Vikings getting right this game, which they didn't get right, but, you know, they got a win finally.
Got back to somewhat on track.
Bucks had Saints. We were wrong. We said if Derek Carr was going to play, we got the Saints. The Bucks controlled this game. The Saints did not play well.
They did.
Now
this worried me, too.
And I think these are going to be two teams fighting for that NFC South division. And now the Bucks already got the first game of the series. So now the Bucks could definitely win this division, like I've said in the past. So the Bucks, to me, are somewhat legitimate. They're definitely legitimate to make the playoffs. They might even be legitimate to win this division because the Saints are going to be in their way. Now they beat the Saints, so we'll see what happens.
I'm a little concerned because Mike Evans is hurt, so I'm just curious to see what Baker Mayfield will do without his key target.
That's a good point, though. But the defense has been playing very well lately, so maybe that could hold them in some games. Yeah. Steelers at Texans. Texans controlled this game, and boy, were we wrong about this. The Texans are way better than we thought, and the Steelers aren't as good as we thought.
I really don't know what to make of Kenny Pickett's anymore.
Is he hurt long term? You said it was
no. So apparently he had a bruise on his bone or a bone bruise, whatever you call it.
Bone bruise, yeah.
A bone bruise, yeah. So I think he's going to be missing a game or two, but I don't know if that matters.
I saw 2 or 3 beautiful throws from C.J. Stroud this game. He's definitely the front runner for Rookie of the Year right now.
C.J. Stroud is doing
either him or Puka Nacua, but he's been great. He made some great throws in that game where I'm like, that's an NFL throw. That guy is way better than I thought.
He hasn't had a pick yet either.
It's crazy. So great. Kudos to the Texans. You guys have surprised all of us. Raiders at Chargers, we got this one right. It was kind of a boring game till the end. The Raiders made it kind of interesting at the end, but the Chargers basically controlled this game. Brandon Staley almost screwed it up again with another 4th down that he went for and didn't get. So
I don't know if I've ever seen the Chargers just outright win a game and just completely dominate it.
Yeah, right? It's always got to be something at the end that makes it like...
Yeah, like just win a game without doing any questionable things, you know?
Why don't you punt for once?
It's like this coach is trying to get himself fired. Like he just wants to lose the games.
But Justin Herbert, you know, solid again in this game. He also got kind of injured. I think he injured one of his fingers on his left hand. It was tough.
I heard that was nothing.
It's not anything. He's a tough guy too. He showed that last season with the rib injury. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so Cardinals at Niners. The Cardinals didn't get killed in this game.
No, they didn't get killed.
And they impressed me. But the Niners, you know, obviously controlled the game. They're the better team. But the Cardinals are what they are, and what they are is a team that competes in every game.
Christian McCaffrey had 4 touchdowns. Can he get MVP this year?
He is a top candidate for sure.
He is, and I don't know if I remember the last running back that got MVP.
I think it was Adrian Peterson. I think so. When he got 2,000 yards, did he even get MVP that year? I think that was the last time a running back won MVP. I could be wrong about that, though. That's an interesting... I got to look that up later. So, but
he's definitely the runner-up. I'll say that.
That was the Christian McCaffrey game. He had himself a day. There's really nothing else to say about that. McCaffrey controlled the entire game from beginning to end. The 4 touchdowns. Like Purdy also would. He have a 95% completion percentage. That'll do it.
Yeah, he went.
That'll do
he
it.
went 19 for 20. That was crazy. Yeah, I was going crazy. I had Christian McCaffrey on my
And Purdy.
my fantasy.
You didn't start
Purdy.
Justin Fields, but it worked out kind of in a way. For Purdy. So I went 9-7 this week. You went 11-5. Again, 2 weeks winning 11 games in a row. So now I'm 36-28. 8 games over 500. You're 39-25. 14 games over 500. So we're both over 500, which is good. But you got 3 games on me
Shows
still.
we kind of know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly, right. So you got 3 games over me still. So it's still close with us. So I thought one of us would get carried away from the other one. But no, we're good still. And we still have we still can compete in this.
AKA he thinks he's better than me.
No. Well, right now you're better than me, so I can't really say much, man. So I want to get into our top 10s now, Dylan. We'll call them our power rankings. I call mine the Reichling rankings. You can come up with some name for yours if you want. Maybe I'll make the quarterback rankings the Reichling rankings. I don't know. I'm still playing around with it, so I'll let you go first. You go.
Okay.
Top 3. Do your top 3.
So I think this is not in any sort of question. 49ers at my top 1. This is one team that, like, they have it all together. You don't know. I can't point out one thing where I was like, no, they got everything going for them. Their defense, they got a great running game. Their quarterback. There was a lot of question marks around Brock Purdy if he was actually, just around an elite team, then, you could really throw any quarterback in there. No, this is a quarterback that he's taking over, and he's really running with it, Obviously, it's... You could really throw any quarterback in there, but he is a good quarterback, and he fits well with this offense. He's very mobile. He can break out the pocket. He's a great running quarterback. He showed us. I feel like a lot of people didn't know what this guy was or what he had, but he has a lot of talent. And then for my second pick, I have the Dolphins. Even though they just lost this week, you can't look past that 70-point win. And this is another team that kind of has it all together. They don't have too good of a defense. They do have Ramsey, so I feel like once Ramsey comes back, they're kind of going to be unstoppable in my eyes. So then I have the Buffalo Bills. This is just a team that we weren't sure about again. But after that Jets loss, I feel like they really got right, and they showed us what they had. They have a great defense too. They put a stop to the Dolphins offense, only letting up 20 points. So yeah, I was very impressed by the Bills defense as well. So
what I find interesting is that the Bills beat the Dolphins, but you have the Dolphins at 2 and the Bills at 3.
Interesting, right?
Do you want to explain that?
Well, clearly because they dominated the Broncos by 70 points.
Okay.
That alone.
I just wanted to hear. I just wanted to see if you had a reason.
And they just have a lot more talent, like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mostert, this other guy. Who is he?
The one I have in fantasy, H-Chan? Yeah.
H-Chan,
that guy's fast, man. That guy's fast. So
they have a lot of hidden gems in there, too.
So let me get into mine. Okay, so number 1, I have 49ers also. Look, I'll just explain it like this. Since Christian McCaffrey's gotten there, every game he started, they're undefeated. So they've just become a different team with Christian McCaffrey. They add that with Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, and their defense is just a bunch of studs. And yes, getting Brock Purdy, last pick in the draft, but he's very capable. He's a top 15 quarterback in my opinion. And to put that, a guy who's accurate, can move, with people that are running wide open down the field, that's going to be dangerous. Plus you have the running game with McCaffrey. I mean, this team is unstoppable. I don't see a weakness in this team right now. The weakness might be the quarterback, and that's not even the weakness. So that just shows, like, maybe they're secondary, I guess, but this is a great team that's primed now. It's now or never for the Super Bowl. Maybe not now or never, but as in this is their best shot to win the Super Bowl this season. So it's now for the Niners. Number 2, I got the Bills. Now, I think the Jets were an anomaly. Josh Allen, the last 4 games against the Jets, he has struggled. It seems like the Jets might have his number. That might have been an anomaly. He's been great ever since then, just blowing teams out. I think he took care of business against the Raiders, blew them out. Took care of business against the Commanders, blew them out. And now he took care of business against the Dolphins, basically blew them out. Now, they've just been unstoppable. He's been efficient. I think he has a 75% completion percentage. And they have an effective running game without Josh Allen. James Cook has had a big season so far. So these are all things I was looking for with the Buffalo Bills. Good defense, running game without Josh Allen, check. Buffalo Bills are number 2. Best team in the AFC so far. So number 3, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, we all have been saying how they've been struggling. They haven't been as good as last season. They've won multiple ways. They've won running the ball. They've won passing the ball. They've won with defense. They can win every single way. Now Jalen Hurts had the best game of the season against the Commanders. So now it seems like he's starting to get into rhythm. A.J. Brown, since he talked about wanting the ball, has had a huge season since then. This team, Swift, has been a revelation. So this team they're 4-0. And they don't feel like 4-0. You have to say something about that. They've been battle-tested, and they're still winning. So this team, other than the Niners, can basically beat anyone. And they might even be able to beat the Niners on a good day. So we'll see. I mean, I think they play them eventually this season. Or if not in the regular season, they play them in the playoffs. So they will get tested eventually. But I still think they're legitimate, and they're just as good as last season. Maybe not as... It's not as easy for them because their schedule is tougher, but I still think the Eagles are a top 3 team. So you have Niners, Dolphins, Bills. I have Niners, Bills, Eagles. Go on. Give 4 and 5.
My number 4 is going to be the Eagles, just like you were saying. They added DeAndre Swift, and that was kind of that made their running game elite. You know, I keep on saying this, just having four running backs like that you can recycle in and out, that just made them so great. But I feel like we were really wondering, are the Eagles taking a step back? They won games that they went back and forth with where they should have really just blown them out. Kind of just playing with their food, something like that. But
kind of like the Chiefs a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like the Chiefs. Both these teams, maybe it's a little bit of the Super Bowl hangover. Who knows? But I feel like this last game against the Commanders, they really shown, they got back to their roots, like I was saying before. You can't really look past the 2 dynamic wide receivers, and now you have a great running game, and you have a great defense too. So it's all there. So that's why I have them at my number 4. I do want to place them higher, but like I said before, they're kind of playing with their food. They're games where they should have just blown them out, and they were looking a little questionable. So
yeah, I agree with that.
And then my number 5 would be the Kansas City Chiefs. Now look, they just won the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, but this is a team that I'm a little concerned about. They proved to us that without Travis Kelce, they don't really have much else going for them.
No,
not at all. I mean, Pacheco had himself a game last week, and I feel like he's really taking a step up. But I can't really look at that offense and see what other talent they have besides Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. They need some other talent to really, be a decent team. Well, I wouldn't say decent team, but
maybe they make a trade at the deadlines. We'll see. So number 4, I have the Chiefs. Instead of you, so you have Eagles 4, Chiefs 5. I have Chiefs 4. So they have not been as dominant as past Chiefs teams have, but Mahomes still finds ways to win these games, whether it's running, whether it's completing a pass when he has to. Mahomes is still great, and you have Kelce. Though, as long as you have that and Andy Reid, the head coach, I feel like you're going to be fine. This might not necessarily be their year to win the Super Bowl, but they'll be back, even if it's not this year. And who knows? Like I said, they could add a receiver at the trade deadline. Pacheco is a throwback running back. He kind of just runs hard right up the middle, and he's been a 7th-round draft pick. He's been great for them. Edwards-Helaire kind of stepped back on the scene a little bit too, and this defense has been way better than advertised. It's probably been one of the best defenses Mahomes has ever had. Definitely the fastest and the youngest. So this defense could keep improving over the weeks too. As long as the offense starts to get humming a little bit. I don't trust Kadarius Toney. I don't trust Valdez-Scantling. I don't trust Sky Moore. So I do trust Kelce. So that's really all I trust. And their line is decent. So we'll see with the Chiefs. They're still going to be in the playoffs, obviously. They're still top 5 team. They're just not the best team in the league anymore. Number 5. So you had Dolphins 2. I have Dolphins 5th. I had them actually. I had them 2nd before this week. Just seeing them finally get beat, it made me open my eyes a little bit to there's a formula to beat them. If you follow that script, you have a good shot. Pressure Tua, get out to a lead quick, make them play catch up. Because once they start to get out of their element and they can't do all these motions, and they have to just drop back and throw like everyone else, they'll be successful, but they're not as successful as they always are. So you saw them kind of struggle once they got down big in this game. against Buffalo. And I still think they're a great team. I still think they're a top 5 team, but that defense is very lackluster, and they should be worried about it. Now, Jalen Ramsey will come back eventually. Will that be the missing piece? I don't know, because it seems like they get torched in the run game, pass game, you name it. So will that hold them back moving forward? I'm not sure. But they are fun to watch. They're exciting to watch. I still think they're the fastest team in NFL history. They're gonna blow a lot of teams out still. So Dolphins are still a top 5 team. So we'll go one by one. So you give 6, I'll give 6.
All right. So number 6, I have the Lions, the Detroit Lions. This is just another team that kind of has it all together. With a coach like they have, Dan Campbell, he's just that coach that you want on your team, and they've just really proven that they are that team. They were taking a big step up last year. They added Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and that's a good duo that you have right there. And he has some. Jared Goff has his targets, and he's been making it work over there. So I feel like this is a team that's really going to take a step up this year.
Oh, this is their year, so they should definitely win that division. I got the Cowboys at 6, and they were also higher until that Cardinals loss, and they blew out the Patriots this week, but there's still question marks. Look, their defense is elite. We all get that. Even without Trayvon Diggs, their defense will still be elite. Their other corner stepped up. I forgot his name, but their defense is elite. The problem is the play calling with Mike McCarthy, the coaching with Mike McCarthy, and Dak Prescott. He will make turnovers. He falls behind, he's going to start making mistakes. I like Dak. He's a top 15 quarterback in my opinion, but he's not elite. People that try to convince me he's elite, just stop. We're going to find out this week against the 49ers what the Cowboys really are, because I do think they have that Mike Tyson quality like the Buffalo Bills, they can knock out teams. When they're rolling, they're going to knock you out. They're going to blow you out by 40. But if you give them a good fight and you're technical and you like the 49ers, it's going to be tough for them. So if they can hang in there with the 49ers, then yeah, they could be a Super Bowl contender. If they go down 27-12 or something embarrassing like that, we should start thinking this is the same old Cowboys. So I have the Cowboys at 6. So who's your 7?
So my 7's going to be the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, I like that one.
Like you were saying before, Lamar Jackson, he's having himself a year. This is just an offense where, they don't have too good of a run game. They have Gus Edwards, but they just have pieces that kind of just make it work, Their defense is all around very good, They don't lose by too much. They can keep them in the game, and as long as that offense is going, then they can easily win games. Lamar Jackson, like you're saying, he might be the runner-up for MVP as well. So that's why I got them at my 7th.
I have the Detroit Lions at 7th. Either they have the best offensive line in the league, or the Eagles have the best offensive line in the league. One of them, or it could be tied. I don't know. All I know is that they can run the ball with conviction. When the running game is working for them, which is almost always, Jared Goff uses his play action, and he gets the ball out to Amon-Ra St. Brown and his receivers, and everything's always humming on offense. The defense has been the big key for the Detroit Lions this year. They have been impressive, really impressive. They held the Chiefs. The only team that really torched them was Seattle, kind of. Other than that, they've been in check. And just the people, Cam Sutton, the players that they add, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they've in that secondary has been huge for them. Aiden Hutchinson's coming into his own. That defense is starting to become legitimate. So now they have almost a complete team now. They're not there yet, but they're very close to a complete team. Now they
beat the Chiefs, so they really stay into.
Yeah, that's true. Now can
games.
They beat the Eagles and the 49ers? Well, we're gonna find out because they're gonna play one of these teams in the playoffs. But they are a top 4 team in the NFC for sure. Probably Eagles, Niners, Cowboys to the top 3, whatever order you want. The Lions right there for. The Lions could be better than the Cowboys. Now, I know you haven't said the Cowboys yet. So do you have the Cowboys at 8?
I have that Cowboys at 8, yes. They had to come
That's low. That's pretty low. I will say that. But
that is low. Well, listen, They played. I feel like when they play bad, you hit it on the head. When they play bad teams, they could steamroll them, absolutely. But when you have a team that you know they're going to answer back, and you got to keep on throwing the ball and keep on scoring, will they stay in it? It scares me what Dak is when his back's against the wall, because he had a lot of questionable throws, like we were saying, against the Cardinals, and I'm just not convinced with him yet. So, but
Look,
then
I hear
again,
you,
you know,
man.
their offense is still very, very good, and they have a all-time defense. So, you know, that's why they're still in my top 10. But
Well, they're definitely a top 10 team. It seems like you have them a little low, but I get where you're coming from. Look, I get it with Dallas. They're choke artists. I've been saying this, so we have to wait and see with them. Number 8, I had the Baltimore Ravens. I was a little lower on them going to the season. I knew they'd be exciting, but I didn't think they'd be this good. You want to know why they're this good? Because they got back to what they do best, running the ball with Lamar. He runs the ball effectively. You don't need Lamar throwing for 300 passing yards. All he needs is 150, 200, and then another 50, 100 rushing yards, and he's good. Now, he can throw the ball better than people think. He showed that last game. Now, the defense has been very feisty, and they got a great coach, and it seems like the division's kind of falling apart around them. So they have a clear path to win the AFC North. Lamar's having an MVP-type season. Even though they have a couple injuries around them, it seems like they're still winning these games, so Ravens at 8 for me.
my 9's going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is just a team that kind of they're kind of very similar with the Lions, as in like they're both very up and coming. You know, Geno Smith, he's really proven himself. You know, he's a great running quarterback, and he can get it done passing the ball too. I'm not crazy about like him being a locker room guy. Like he gets into a lot of tussles. Like he was going at it with one of the Giants players, you know, about him tackling him.
He got punched in the face in the Jets locker room and broke his jaw.
Yeah,
and that's how his Jets career ended.
Yeah, so that might be his downfall, but otherwise they have a lot of momentum going into this year, and you know they still have a lot of targets. You know, Metcalf, Lockett, you know, and all these other new players that they added.
They're running backs.
Yeah, they're running back. Yeah, Walker's elite.
Don't forget about Charbonnet too.
Charbonnet, yeah, these are top. You know, Walker might be a top 10 running back now.
Yes, that's absolutely right now. Yeah. So number 9, don't call me crazy. I have the Los Angeles Chargers. Why? Their roster is stacked. I know they lost Mike Williams for the year, but they just drafted Quentin Johnson to replace him. And Joshua Palmer had a great game anyway. Justin Herbert is a stud, and if Khalil Mack on defense is going to get 6 sacks in the game, they're good. And they also got Joey Bosa on that D line too. So if their defense plays like they should play, their offense is going to score points. So they're a top 10 team, in my opinion. They're going to make the playoffs, and they need to take another step this year and win a playoff game, which I think they'll do. Now, the coach holds them back. I don't like their coach, but at some point, the quarterback will prevail.
They have a lot of questionable calls.
They do, but at some point, your elite quarterback is going to prevail, and Justin Herbert's too elite to not win a playoff game. So I think this is the year they finally get over the hump and win that playoff game. Now, I hope they don't, because I want this coach. I don't want this coach gone. I don't want anyone getting fired, but he's just not a head coach. Like, at some point, punt the ball. Like, come on. So
absolutely,
who rounds off your top 10?
They have a bye this week, and I think they'll definitely need it.
Yeah, they do. Eckler's hurt, so they definitely need it, especially me for fantasy.
And my number 10 is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this is a team where I really wanted to put them higher, and you know, in the beginning of the season, we thought they would be a little higher, but they just haven't been looking like they haven't been clicking. You know, they have all this talent around them. A lot of young talent, and Trevor Lawrence just hasn't been as good as he looked like in the past year. I think something's gonna get going soon, and they're gonna start kicking things into gear. But if they don't, then I'm a little worried about this team.
I was about to say, I would hope you would say they pick it up. Why would you have the top 10 if you didn't?
Yeah.
But now my number 10 team is the Cleveland Browns. I know they got steamrolled by the Baltimore Ravens, but look, Deshaun Watson didn't play. I know the defense underperformed, but that's also because they got down. And when you get down, you kind of become unmotivated. I still think this defense is great. I think they have enough pieces on offense to succeed even without Nick Chubb. And if Deshaun Watson makes a few plays here and there, they could be a really good team. So I think the Browns, their defense will prevail. And I like their coach. And like I said, this defense has started to step up this year. They have the pieces on that defense. You know, when you fall down sometimes in games, you get a little lackadaisical. You didn't have your starting quarterback. They probably felt a little defeated. I'm not getting into the minds of these players. I'm just saying that defense is better than what they showed that game. Now, I just think that they can like the Steelers and the Bengals seem like a mess. So I think the Browns could fight for this division. I think the Ravens are going to win it at this point. But the Browns are right there, in my opinion. They're right there with the Ravens. I feel like that game would have been a lot closer if Deshaun Watson played. So I got the Browns at 10. So I'll rehash that. So number 1, I got the Niners. Number 2, I got the Bills. Number 3, Eagles. 4, Chiefs. 5, Dolphins. 6, Cowboys. 7, Lions. 8, Ravens. 9, Chargers. 10, Browns.
1, I have the 49ers. 2, I have the Dolphins. 3, I have Bills. 4, I have Eagles. 5, I have Chiefs. 6, I have Lions. 7, I have Ravens. 8, I have Cowboys. 9, I have Seahawks. And 10, I have Jaguars.
So you don't have to add to this part, but I just want to say a couple teams that I left that just missed the cut for me. I had the Seattle Seahawks at 11. I do think they're a really good team. I think the Browns just have a little bit of a better defense. They might have a little bit of a better offense, but I think the Browns defense is elite. I don't think the Seahawks defense is elite, even though last night they looked elite against Daniel Jones. Number 12, I have the Jaguars. I still, like you said, a little worried about them. They got right against Atlanta, but I need to see it one more week. And 13, I have the Commanders, which is actually really impressive. I didn't think they'd be this high to even begin with.
So that's one team that's kind of really jumped the ladder for me as well.
Yeah, so the Commanders are probably in your top 15, somewhere in there.
Yes.
So 4 weeks from now, we'll do it again. Maybe next week we'll do top 10 quarterbacks. We'll try to add in some lists to make things fun here. We don't want to be too robotic. So now we will get into our picks for next week. So we will start with the Bears at the Commanders Thursday Night Football. Dylan, who do you have?
Bears and the Commanders. So I was mentioning this before, that at first glance, it's like, yeah, this is going to be a boring game. But no, this is actually going to be really interesting. Justin Fields had himself a game, and if he can keep things going like he's been, I feel like hit your targets, run the ball like you've been running the ball last season and get things going, and I think they could win this game. And this isn't going to be an easy game by any means either. The Commanders are not a team you want to play with. Sam Howell looks like a really good quarterback, and he could be better than Justin Fields. So, I feel like this is really going to be a good game.
So I'm going to break this down as simple as possible. The Bears' defense sucks. I like the Commanders' offense in that matchup. And the Bears' offensive line sucks. I love the Commanders' D-line. So the Commanders' D-line is going to create a lot of pressure on Justin Fields. He's going to turn the ball over, and the Commanders are going to control the game on offense because they have the better offense than the two. So I think the Commanders are going to control this game. Obviously, the Commanders are favored in this game. They're home. So I got the Commanders in this one. You got the Bears. Jaguars at Bills. Now, going to the season, I would have thought this would be closer than what it is. I got the Bills in this one. I would have said for me, the Jaguars would have been impossible going into the season, but after watching the first 4 weeks, I'm not as confident to say that. I think the Bills will kind of steamroll them here. What do you think?
Well, I feel like this will be their this week where they really bounce back.
Oh, you got the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm getting the Jaguars for this one. I've always been high on the Jaguars. They're a very young team. They're coming into this game, with a lot of people doubting them. So I feel like this will be their week they get right.
So I see what you're saying. This Bills defense looks better than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, they were always good, and I knew they were good, but they look pretty elite. And the Jaguars' offense has been a little up and down. They got right last week against Atlanta. I keep saying that. But I don't know if they're going to get a little stifled here. Like, Trevor Lawrence has been pretty inconsistent this season.
He has.
And so I could see that happening, but I'm going to stick with Bills here. They've been too dominant for me to go away from them right now. But look, that could probably be the one that I end up looking stupid because it's usually the game I never expect. Not that I don't expect
by any
this.
means, I don't think this is going to be a blowout either way.
No, I don't think that either. Not that I wouldn't expect the Jaguars to win. It's just like the way they've been playing lately, it doesn't seem like a game that they match up well. So I'll go Bills in this one. So Texans at Falcons. Now, I got to go. Look, I don't like Desmond Ridder. The Texans defense looks better than what we thought, and the Falcons defense is Swiss cheese. So I like CJ Stroud in this one, and I like the Houston Texans.
Every call here is different.
I know,
so
which is weird.
I'm getting the Falcons on this one.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I thought you were high on the Texans, so I'm a little surprised by that.
I am high on the Texans, but I haven't seen enough from CJ Stroud. He's a really good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but the Falcons just have a few more pieces on their team than the Texans.
That I get. If you put the rosters next to each other, the Falcons have the better roster.
Yes.
What I don't like is their quarterback, and what I like on Houston is their quarterback and their head coach. So
well, I mean they beat the Green Bay Packers, and I feel like that was a big win for them as well.
It was.
Desmond Ridder. He can go either way sometimes, but
he had some decent gains, but he just last game he looked really bad. So it was forcing the ball. So I gotta go Texans here. It looks like their defense is pretty good, the Texans. And the Falcons, their defense could be inconsistent. So I'll go Texans here.
And I'll go Falcons.
Okay. So Panthers at Lions. I think we can both confidently say Lions.
Bryce Young looked good, though.
Yeah, he did.
He might put up a fight
He
here.
did, but the Lions, look, I could see this being like a 20-6 game, like not a blowout where the Lions get 30 points, but where the Lions kind of control the game the entire time. Like kind of like how the Lions played the Falcons. I think it was like 20-6, something, 22 whatever. It's going to be similar to that. The Panthers are probably barely going to score. The Lions are going to get just enough points and then run the ball to death until the game ends. That's how I see it's going to happen. So
we'll see. I'm definitely getting the Lions, too.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong,
Lions for me, too.
It's going to be a closer one than most people make it out to be, I think.
Titans at Colts, and this one was the toughest one for me to pick. It was a divisional game.
Yes, very tough.
And Anthony Richardson's been really good, but like still kind of losing sometimes. So the Titans have like been good one week, bad the next week, good again, bad again. I'll say this is going to be a good week for the Titans because I think they match up pretty well against the Colts. They have a decent run defense, and what the Colts like to do, run the ball. And it seems like Ryan Tannehill has been okay. I mean, they have to get started with Derrick Henry here. If they don't get it started with Derrick Henry, they're not going to win this game. And I think Derrick Henry's going to have another big game. I think he's starting to get game momentum, especially after last game.
He is, for sure. I like that, I do. But I like the Colts for this more so. They had a crazy game against the Rams. To come back like that against a team,
It was impressive.
it was very impressive.
That's why it was tough for me to pick this one.
Yeah. The Titans, like you were saying before, they kind of could go up and down. I'm not too convinced on Ryan Tannehill. He's very inconsistent for a quarterback.
Yeah, especially this season. It's been weird with Ryan Tannehill.
Very weird.
Yeah.
So they do have Derrick Henry, so this one could go either way for me too, but I just like the Colts more in this.
This is the most split one for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Giants at Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to steamroll the Giants. The Giants aren't going to be able to keep up with their receivers and with their rookie cornerbacks. And they do have a good D-line, so that might be their saving grace. They need to get pressure on Tua, and they need to get on them quick before they jump out to a big lead. But I think they're going to jump out to a big lead quick. Now, this is actually a good opportunity for the Giants offense to kind of get right here. Even if you lose, they have a kind of shaky defense, especially in the secondary.
That's what I was going to say, too. Like, listen, I'm not going to look stupid and choose the Giants again. I'm choosing Dolphins, don't get me wrong. But like we were saying before, the Dolphins don't have that good of a defense. So, yes, you're right. This is a time where the Giants could take advantage and score some points. Score any points. Score a touchdown, man. Do something, Don't look like, a dead bird out there. Just do something.
Yeah, no, trust me. Exactly. They need to score some points this game. They can't just get steamrolled. Even if they do get steamrolled on defense, they need to actually put up some points. Just so you give your fans some confidence that you guys have a functional offense and not be embarrassing every week. I think the Giants, other than the Jets, the Giants have the worst offense. You can't count the Jets because they don't have a quarterback. I'm not going to count Zach Wilson as a quarterback just yet. So the Giants have been pathetic. They have 3 points in 2 home games.
Yeah.
So
it's not good.
Not good at all.
for them.
Saints at Patriots. And Dylan, I like the Patriots in this one. I don't know why. I just feel like Belichick being home, they're going to come up with a good defensive scheme against Derek Carr in that offense. And I think the Patriots are going to win. They're going to win a very tight, low-scoring game.
I completely agree with that. After an embarrassing,
Patriots,
yeah.
nice.
So after an embarrassing loss like they had to the Cowboys, I feel like Belichick is going to be, his blood's going to be boiling. I'm sure it's going to be boiling all week, and he's going to have this game on his mind where this is going to be a get right game for them.
That's a good point because usually when teams get embarrassed like that, they come to play the next game.
Yeah,
so they're
absolutely.
Gonna be
Especially like a Bill Belichick team like that.
Yeah, I've never seen him get embarrassed like that. He's going to be angry because that dude's got an ego. So
yeah,
I like that one. The Patriots people are probably that could be a go either way game, but I see people being on the Saints more for that one because people are very low on the Patriots. But usually when people are so low on a team, they bounce back. It's a law of averages. So
I don't like what I've been seeing from the Saints.
No, I don't either.
What worries me is they have all the talent there, but they're just not making it work at all.
Can we throw out that stat for Kamara? 13 catches, 33 yards.
What is going on with Kamara?
13 catches, which is great. 13 catches, 33 yards.
So that was just like all catches
2
in
yards,
the backfield
almost
and
2
just
yards a catch.
Immediately getting
and not
tackled.
breaking any tackles. Yeah, like I didn't watch the whole game, I'll admit, but that doesn't sound
But
good.
it says it all right.
Yeah.
The stats say it right there.
Yeah, so that doesn't sound good.
So what do we make of Alvin Kamara?
He's had legal problems. He's been injured. He's gotten suspended. He's on the downfall. That's what it is.
It's falling off a cliff.
Can he be a top 20 running back still? We'll see.
I don't know. He hasn't shown it at all.
He hasn't. So the Saints, and the Saints have been up and down too. Even like some of their wins, I haven't been impressed. Like the first win, forgot who they played the first game. Was the Titans? That wasn't impressive. And then the Panthers game wasn't. Remember that Monday night game where we were like, this is so boring. They weren't impressive in that game either.
No,
then
not at all.
the Packer game, yes, they were impressive till Carr got hurt, and then they ended up losing. And in this game, we're not impressive at all. So like, it seems like the Bucs might be better than the Saints. I don't want to start getting into divisionals and all that.
You might be right there.
Yeah.
I
might have called that before.
You might have. I think I agree with that.
So we like the Patriots in that one. Yeah. Ravens at Steelers. This one is tough too.
This one
because the Steelers are home.
So
and it's divisional again. Yeah. I'll let you go first.
So I'm getting the Ravens for this. I don't even know if Kenny Pickett's going to play. But honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think it matters.
I would pay. Me too. I got Ravens regardless.
Regardless, right? Yeah. So Ravens just been, going up and up, and
I think the Ravens
they're rolling with a lot of momentum right now.
The Ravens right now are the team to beat in that division, and the Steelers are right there. So the Browns but the Steelers are kind of a mess right now. So this was huge. They're home here. This is huge for the Steelers to steal one against Baltimore. This would be huge for them. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't like their offense, and I don't like their offensive play calling, and their defense disappointed last week. So
it's a divisional game. I think it's going to be really close. I feel like this one might even go into overtime. It's going to go back and forth
because it's divisional.
Yeah.
Now I think
Steelers defense too. You know
what's funny about that? I was going to say. So I had Steelers defense in fantasy this week. I know fantasy doesn't matter, but guess how many points they had? They had -6. They need to improve this week. They need to get some sacks, get some turnovers. I need to see Minka Fitzpatrick take a pick to the house or something. But I got Ravens in this one. They're going to run the ball effectively, I think, and they're going to control the game with Lamar Jackson. So and their defense is underrated, and they're going to. If Mitch Trubisky plays, that offense is going to struggle. It struggles with Kenny Pickett as it is. So we got Ravens in that one.
Trubisky might put up a better fight.
We'll see. Maybe we'll see. Bengals at Cardinals. This is tough too. I'm gonna go Cardinals here.
Whoa.
Look, I'm off the Bengals. I'm off the Bengals hype train. I think they are just not good right now. I don't know. I think a lot of it's to do with Joe Burrow being injured. I think the Cardinals are a high functioning team. I think talent wise the Bengals have the better team, but I think the Cardinals are home here and they're a feisty team to play when they're home. It seems like right now they can run the ball with
Giants
Josh Dobbs.
beat them when they were home.
Yeah, good point. But they can run the ball. They got some legitimate receivers, like I said, Hollywood Brown. You got Rondale Moore. This guy, what was his name? Michael Wilson came on.
Or Michael Williams, I think.
No, Michael Wilson. I think.
Oh, it was Wilson. Exactly.
Mike Williams is on the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zach Ertz, and they got some players in defense. They've been decent. So I've been picking the Bengals every week and they've been losing. Now once I don't pick them, they're gonna win. So it's just my luck. I just have a feeling in this one the Cardinals are gonna come out to play. They're 1-3 right now. They're gonna want to get another win in the win column. They played the Niners well. They played the Giants well. They definitely played the Cowboys well. And what was week 1? Who did they play? They played the Commanders pretty well, but then fell off in the second half.
Yeah, they lost.
They're mostly a first half team. They're gonna have to find a way to finish games because the Bengals are a second half team. So if they jump out to elite, the Bengals could come back in this one because they do. That's
a very good point. So. That's exactly how this play out. I'm getting the Bengals for this. I feel like you got to give them one more week. I keep on saying this. You got to give them one more week. You got to give them one more week. A team like this, with the stack roster that they have. I can see them squeaking out a win here. This should be a game that they completely dominate if they want to make any sort of hopes of coming back and, being any sort of contenders for a playoff team or anything like that. This is it right here.
You go 1-4, you're done. So
yeah, especially against a team like this.
Yeah,
So I'm getting the Bengals here. They got to get right.
Eagles at Rams. Now, I don't think this one's that tough. I think the Rams will give them a good fight, but the Eagles are going to, they're going to control this game because the Eagles will win multiple different ways. It just depends. The question about this game is which way will they win this time? So I got the Eagles in this one.
I got the Eagles here too, but again, I don't like what I've been seeing from the Eagles. They just, haven't been dominating teams.
There's that one thing that's missing. I get what you're saying. When the offense is clicking against the defense, when the defense is clicking against the offense.
What's going on with Jalen Hurts running the ball? He cannot run the ball anymore. I don't know what's going on.
That I'll give you. I haven't seen him run as much as he did last year. They just do the little push. That's really it.
But when they do run it with him, they'll do a fake option and he'll run. He just can't.
I think his defenses figure people out. Usually they get an off season of tape. Mm-hmm. And I think they figured him out a little bit, but he had a great game throwing the ball last week.
He did. I'm not gonna hate on him. I just everything hasn't been there for them, but I think the Rams could stay in this, maybe upset them. I can see it happening, but I wouldn't count on it. So I'm going Eagles there.
Eagles too. Chiefs at Vikings. I'm not going to get too much into this one. Chiefs all the way.
Chiefs all the way. But imagine the Vikings come in and start
that
running
would be
stuff.
a very Vikings thing to happen.
It would, right?
It would. It
and
really
the
would.
Chiefs, they just had like a crazy game with the Jets. They went toe to toe with the Jaguars, didn't score a lot of points. We have a lot of questions about the Chiefs, but
you know what's funny going into this week? I don't know about after this week of games that just happened, but Kirk Cousins had like the most passing yards, the most touchdowns. Yeah, he was leading in all the stats. So it's funny because they've been losing, but he's been great. But like it's always the key moments that he's not great. So like he'll be.
This is why they remind me of the Chargers a lot too.
Well, here's the thing: the Chargers, Justin Herbert barely wins despite his coaching, despite his players, despite his defense. It seems like Kirk Cousins has it around him and chokes. It's a little different. And I like their coach in Minnesota. I thought he did a lot with Kirk Cousins last year. He's a smart offensive guy. It just seems like their defense sucks. Alexander Madison is not what we thought he was going to be. He's been better lately.
Jordan Addison, though, they do have him.
He's been up and down, but he's promising. They had that big turnover against the Panthers, and hopefully the defense can keep that going, but like the defense isn't great. Kirk Cousins has been great this season, even though it hasn't led to wins.
We say this all the time. He can't win in prime time.
No, he can't.
It comes down to the
moment.
he
can't. He's got a terrible, and it's for a reason. People have numbers and data for a reason, and Kirk Cousins, to me, he's a top 12, 13 quarterback, but there's a reason why he's not top 10, and the reason is he shies away in the big moment, which he's going to do again against the Chiefs. So Jets at Broncos.
You gonna go with your Jets?
If I didn't see what I saw from Zach Wilson last week, I would say Broncos, but I gotta go Jets here. That defense is not good for Denver. The Jets defense is good. I just think Denver's gonna meet. Denver's been playing some very bad defenses. Washington's secondary isn't good. They played the Bears. They played the Raiders, not a good defense, and they only scored 16 points. They played Miami also, who doesn't have a good defense. The Jets is the first test for them for their offense defensively. And it's going to be a big difference because the Jets can cover anyone. They got the corners. So the Broncos are going to struggle a little bit here. All the Jets have to do is run the ball, get play action like they did last week. Be a little aggressive. I love the play calling last week from Nathaniel Hackett. Just be aggressive. Play action on first down. Have Zach throwing. Don't let him think too much. I think the Jets win this one convincingly.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I've been so disappointed with the Broncos. It's like they keep on saying they're gonna get better with all they add a new coach, they add a new quarterback, and we're just sitting here and they're not looking any better at all.
No,
they let up 70 points. That's no defense is ever going to be looked at the same after being scored 70 points. And I think we're going to be talking about this all year.
And the first half of the Bears game, too. That was embarrassing, too.
Yes, absolutely.
That defense is becoming historically bad.
Yeah. So I think the Jets are really going to hold them here if they do anything of what they did last week in the second half with the Chiefs. I think they win this game by a lot if they wanted to. They can. This is more of a get-right win for them.
Hopefully. This should be a get-right game for the Jets for sure.
Yeah, so I'm going Jets as well.
Cowboys at Niners. This is the test for the Cowboys, and I think they failed the test. I got Niners in this one. I think they're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But Dak's going to struggle in this game because the Niners are going to create some pressure, and they're going to run the ball effectively, the Niners, because they always do. And Dallas' defense is going to look like I think Dallas' defense will hold the Niners. Like it'll probably be low scoring, like 20-12, 25-20, but I think the Niners prevail because the Niners have the better team, the better roster, and the quarterback that makes the less mistakes, and the better coach. So I got Niners in this one.
Well, I'm going to go all the way with that with you as well. 49ers, they just have everything that you want to see. The Cowboys, I think this could even be a blowout. Call me crazy, but I really think this could be a blowout from the Cowboys. Dak Prescott does not look good when his back's against the wall. I said this before, but he really doesn't.
I think the Dallas defense alone will keep them in the game, but you could be right. Maybe they're in over their head here, and they're not elite. We'll find out this week.
There's just so much talent on that 49ers offense rosters.
How do you stop it? Yeah,
exactly.
So we're gonna see, is this Cowboys defense really elite? We're gonna find out.
Oh, I can't wait to watch. I want to.
You want to see the Cowboys get killed? I want to get them. I don't blame you. It'd be exciting. Watch the Cowboys get killed. I love to see the Cowboys.
My God.
I love to see the Cowboys fans angry in our
This
comments.
is why the NFL is so interesting.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Packers at Raiders Monday Night Football. This is tough, but the Raiders have been too inconsistent for me. I got to go Packers here. I think they get right from last week because that Lions game they struggled. I think they are going to be well coached. They have the long week because they were played Thursday, and now they don't play till Monday. So they have the long week, extra time to prepare, and the Raiders are inconsistent. I don't know what exactly their identity is.
Very inconsistent.
I don't know what their identity is, and I know what Green Bay's identity is. Run the ball, have Jordan Love not make mistakes, win with your defense, and win with your star two backs, and get deep. If you have to get it deep, get it to Christian Watson or get it to Romeo Doubs on the sideline. So I got the Packers here.
I'm going to go with you with that one as well. The Packers just got, last week they got back their two key targets, Aaron Jones and Christian Watson.
Right.
I think Aaron Jones will have a little bit more going on for him. He's going to be running the ball more, and they can actually get something going against this Raider defense because, they're not too good as well. And there's just something that worries me about the Raiders itself. They just got Jimmy G, but I don't know if that's their saving grace either. They haven't been using Josh Jacobs how they should. I'm still not impressed by him. He was the best running back last year, and he's not showing any glimpse of what he showed last year, and I don't know if he ever will again. So I'm not crazy about this Raiders team.
Neither am I.
And the Packers just have a lot more going for them. They just had a bad week, so I'm sure they're going to have,
That pretty much sums it up. The bad week for the Packers went on to bounce back. The Packers have more going for them. The Packers have a direction. We don't know what the Raiders are doing. That's really what sums it up. So Packers there for both of us. Yeah. Okay, now we'll get back into our Thursday Night Football parlay picks. First, let's rehash what happened last week. So for me, Goff, I did 250-plus passing yards. I missed on that. Packers plus 3.5, missed on that hard. Under 489.5 total points, missed on that, and only hit Romeo Doubs over 3.5 catches. I think he had a 9. He had a big day. So big misses for me.
Big misses.
You could go over yours now.
So I had A.J. Dillon getting a touchdown, and don't get me wrong, I don't know if I would have picked that if I would have known Aaron Jones was starting, but You did that. You
did do that on the assumption that he wasn't going to play.
It's all good. We're good. So then we have Amon St. Brown with 6.5 receptions. He had 5 receptions. I don't know what happened here. They just didn't need him.
They didn't. They were running the ball effectively.
They were running the ball. They were dominating this game. So I get Amon St. Brown not getting those. Then so I missed on those two. Then I had Jordan Love getting 225. He had like 250 something. So I hit on that. And then we have Sam Laporta getting 40-plus receiving yards. I think he had 53. Hit on that. Sam Laporta, he's really stepped up.
Becoming a stud. That's one of the top young tight ends right now.
So, they have Sam Laporta, Amon St. Brown. Who else they got?
That guy Josh Reynolds Goff had on the Rams, who's also now with him in the line.
Yes,
Jameson Williams is coming back this week from the suspension from the gambling.
There you go. They can be a very feisty team.
They could. They are a feisty team now. They could be a legit team very soon. So we'll see. So let's go over our Thursday Night Football picks this week. We got Bears at Commanders. The Commanders home. Let me double check on that. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, Bears at Commanders. So I'll start first.
It's gonna be a good game.
I'll start first. So we'll get 4 each. The rule here is we try to keep it minus 190 or under. So
you get some juicy bets.
Yeah. So nothing. Some of them were in the plus ranges. Some of them were closer to the minus 190. But we do 4 picks each and combine them as a parlay. And then usually we ride them through the week. So I'll go first. I got Commanders minus 3.5. Total points over 42.5. Sam Howell over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and Brian Robinson anytime touchdown score. So I'm hammering a lot of Commanders here. That the Commanders are going to control this game.
Wow.
It's going to be high scoring just because both these defenses are terrible, and Sam Howell's going to have a day. Brian Robinson is going to get a touchdown inside the 10. So that's what I think is going to happen. What about you, Dylan?
Brian Robinson touchdown. I like that too.
Yeah.
I have Justin Fields over 193.5 passing yards. That should be easy, He had
especially if they fall behind early, like my prediction. Yeah, he'll be throwing the ball.
Yeah,
go on.
I have Bears plus 7.5, and that shouldn't be too hard to get. I have them winning, so keeping within the touchdown shouldn't be too hard. I have DJ Moore over 49.5 receiving yards. They really were favoring him last game.
Right.
I think that shouldn't be a problem. Then I have Cole Kmet over 30.5 receiving yards. And
Wow, so you go all Bears and I go all Commanders.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. You got the Bears parlay, you got the Commanders.
There you go. Maybe mix and match them if you want.
You never know. So yeah.
Well, you guys say something about Cole Kmet because I heard you about to talk, but he did have a big game last game. What's they need from him? So look, another week. We're going into week 5. We did our top 10, so let us know what you think. Like, subscribe, share. We're gonna have another exciting week. No Jet games for me going to this week. I'll be home watching it either with the girlfriend or with this idiot over here. So all right, thanks, Dylan. See you guys next week.